Tunisia is a country in northern Africa, bordering the Mediterranean Sea, having a western border with Algeria and southeastern border with Libya, where the width of land tapers to the southwest into the Sahara. The country has northeast and complex east-to-north coasts, including the curved Gulf of Gabès, which forms the western part of Africa's Gulf of Sidra. Most of this greater gulf forms the main coast of Libya, including the city of Sirte, which shares its route name. The country's geographic coordinates are 34.000 degrees north, 9.000 degrees east, 34.000, 9.000. Tunisia occupies an area of 163,610 square kilometers, of which 8,250 are water. The principal and reliable rivers rise in the north of the country, with a few notable exceptions from northeast Algeria, and flow through the northern plain, where sufficient rainfall supports diverse plant cover and irrigated agriculture. Maritime claims: contiguous zone 24 nmi, territorial sea 12 nmi. Physical geography: Tunisia is on the Mediterranean coast of North Africa, midway between the Atlantic Ocean and the Nile Delta. It is bordered by Algeria on the west and Libya on the southeast. It lies between latitudes 30 degrees and 38 degrees north, and longitudes 7 degrees and 12 degrees east. An abrupt southward turn of the Mediterranean coast in northern Tunisia gives the country two distinctive Mediterranean coasts, west-east in the north, and north-south in the east. Tunisia is about the size of the American state of Wisconsin. Despite its relatively small size, Tunisia has great environmental diversity due to its north-south extent. Its east-west extent is limited. Differences in Tunisia, like the rest of the Maghreb, are largely north-south environmental differences defined by sharply decreasing rainfall southward from any point. The dorsal, the eastern extension of the Atlas Mountains, runs across Tunisia in a northeasterly direction from the Algerian border in the west to the Cape Bon Peninsula in the east. North of the dorsal is the Tell, a region characterized by low, rolling hills and plains, again an extension of mountains to the west in Algeria. In the Croumerie, the northwestern corner of the Tunisian Tell, elevations reach 1,050 meters and snow occurs in winter. The Sahel, a broadening coastal plain along Tunisia's eastern Mediterranean coast, is among the world's premier areas of olive cultivation. Inland from the Sahel, between the dorsal and a range of hills south of Gafsa, are the steppes. Much of the southern region is desert. Tunisia has a coastline 1,148 kilometers long. In maritime terms, the country claims a contiguous zone of 24 nautical miles, and a territorial sea of 12 nautical miles. Rivers: the Sahara River rises in Algeria and flows east through the third of the country with reliable rivers, the north. It empties into the Gulf of Tunis and Lake of Tunis. At 450 kilometers it is the longest river. It is also known as the Wadi Majada and Wadi Mefhera, and it was known as Bagrada in ancient times. It rises in a further section of the Tell Atlas in Algeria, staying to the south of the Tell Escarpment while within the country. It has been dammed at the Sidi Salem Dam. The Oued Zouara rises in the country's own section of the Tell. It has been dammed by the Sidi El Barak Dam, which forms a large lake widely used across the north and center of the country in an advanced water management project. Climate: Tunisia's climate is hot summer Mediterranean climate in the north, where winters are mild with moderate rainfall and summers are hot and dry. Temperatures in July and August can exceed 40 degrees Celsius when the tropical continental air mass of the desert reaches the whole Tunisia. Winters are mild with temperatures rarely exceeding 20 degrees Celsius. The south of the country is desert. The terrain in the north is mountainous, which, moving south, gives way to a hot, dry central plain. As we go to the south, the climate naturally becomes hotter, drier and sunnier. The southern part has therefore a hot desert climate with extremely hot summers, warm winters and very low annual rainfall amount. Daytime temperatures consistently turn around 45 degrees Celsius during summers. However, the warmth of winters is only during daytime because nights can be cold in the desert. A series of salt lakes, known as Chotsa-Chats, line an east-west line at the northern edge of the Sahara Desert, extending from the Gulf of Gabès into Algeria. The lowest point is Chott El Djerid at -17 meters, and the highest is Jebel Akchambi at 1,544 meters. Annual average rainfall amount is lower than 500 millimeters nearly everywhere in Tunisia. Tunisia is therefore a dry, semi-arid country. Areas with a pre-Saharan climate receive below 250 millimeters and areas with a typical Saharan climate receive below 100 millimeters of annual average precipitation. The southernmost part receives rainfall as low as 50 millimeters in areas around El Bourma along the Algerian border. Largest cities. Natural resources. Tunisia possesses petroleum, phosphates, iron ore, lead, zinc, salt and arable land. 3,850 square kilometers of land is irrigated in Tunisia. The use of land in the country is demonstrated in the following table. Environment. Current environmental issues for Tunisia include toxic and hazardous waste disposal is ineffective and presents human health risks. Water pollution from raw sewage. Limited natural freshwater resources. Deforestation. Overgrazing. Soil erosion. Desertification. Tunisia is a party to the following international agreements: biodiversity, climate change, Kyoto Protocol, desertification, endangered species, environmental modification, hazardous wastes, law of the sea, marine dumping, ozone layer protection, ship pollution and wetlands. Tunisia has signed, but not ratified, the Marine Life Conservation Agreement. Tunisia, like other North African countries, has lost much of its prehistoric biodiversity due to the ongoing expanding human population. For example, until historic times there was a population of the endangered primate Barbary macaque. The monk seal is now extirpated. Extreme points. This is a list of the extreme points of Tunisia, the points that are farther north, south, east or west than any other. Northernmost point, Gallo, Isles des Chiens, Galite Islands, Bizerte Governorate. Northernmost point, Ras Ben Sakar, Bizerte Governorate *. Easternmost point, Belahima on the border with Libya, Medinine Governorate. Southernmost point, the tripoint with Algeria and Libya, Tartawin Governorate. Westernmost point, village of Hiswa on the border with Algeria due west of Neftatosa Governorate. *. Note, this is also the northernmost point of the African continent.